This piece
That's
is so
crazy.
haunting, but it's
Yeah.
so good. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
It was second time too. I like that this piece is like so different from the first one, but it still has that Marckincia vibe. That's so like palpable and noticeable.
So, reading this story, I was wondering, did anyone not suspect a spooky reason to why all the supers were so weird and always died?
It's so blunt.
I think me and Miss Abby are the main ones who are
The conspiracy
noticing all of this
theorists.
stuff.
Mm.
The other people in my building too, but I don't think that I'm that nosy, but I'm curious, so I just look and see what's happening and keep track of it.
Yeah.
We see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you like notice the patterns that were happening. It's like to us, it seems so obvious because we're reading this from your perspective, and we're like, "Oh, that one's gone too, and that one, and that one." But it's interesting that no one else saw it.
So we only get a glimpse of the other old tenant, Miss Abby, only a few times. And those few times, she's always knowing what's going on with the supers. This makes me wonder, do you have an update on Miss Abby? Do you know any parts of her story? Does she perhaps play a role in the change of the 4 supers?
I don't think she does play a role in the changing of supers, but she has been living there for a while, for quite some time, and she lives on the first floor. And the super's apartment is on the first floor. So she's able to see the in and outs of the super and their daily activities.
I don't know why, but when I was reading, I just felt like she had some part in the missing supers.
Yeah, so how did you go about generally deciding to write about this, picking this specific topic? Is it something that you just like were like carrying for so long? It's just like everyone needs to know all my supers are gone. Or tell us about that.
Originally I did not decide on talking about this like that, but I was talking about a lot of different things in my childhood, how I grew up, in my neighborhood, where I went to school, and different things I noticed, things I paid attention to that a lot of people probably didn't pay attention to. So there were a lot of slices of life and vignettes and things like that. And actually the professor told me that you probably should work with this instead. You have all these different ideas, but you might want to focus on this one, the ones about supers. So then I became more nosy and just try to remember everything that I saw and paid more attention to other things as the days went by and just kept writing. Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting how it like all got put together. Ended up making a good story.
Yeah.
Did any supers go missing after that or stay for like a little while only?
We have a 5th super right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We have a 5th one.
What's he
Oh my
like?
God.
Or they like?
Well, he's African American. He's of African descent, but I do not think he's from the Caribbean. I think he's a regular African American guy. But he likes to whistle when he's like.
I
when
love how
he's-
you just slided that in.
Yeah, he likes to whistle. Yeah,
Facts.
Yeah.
in the morning. Yeah,
The way you describe people is so interesting. Like very like meticulous. And that's what I like love about I can see all of them so clearly. Like you just described him very like just in a few words, and I can see this whistling man.
Right.
This
I feel like he's
whistling-
my super. Like I see him.
I wish my super was this interesting.
Right.
Very bland. Loves to fix toilets.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it is. He's like, I'm just good at it. I'm like, "Sir."
Just on a darker note, I noticed that race plays a huge role in your piece. For example, your family not being served, and then the drawing that you found of the Nazi sign in the camp. Oh, and the super also using the N-word. Did you notice that other families were also being treated unfairly because of their race?
from observation, I understand that the 2 buildings that my super worked in, the supers that have passed and the ones that are still living, or we have a new one as well, but predominantly Black people or people of African descent, Caribbean, are the ones that live there. And most of these people are working class people. And I also understand that if you want all of these other services, you have to pay like higher rent for it. And if you do not have the money to pay higher rent, you just have to wait until whatever you have breaks down completely to get a new one.
So it's not just about race, it's also about class then.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Yeah, like from what you noticed, was it, since it was like primarily people that are like of Caribbean descent, primarily people that were of African descent, who are the people that you noticed did get these services? Because he's saying specifically it's about color and it's about your yeah, where you're from and who you are. But and I'm thinking like, well, wasn't everyone in that apartment kind of that same level? So who did you notice that did get these things or hear that got these things, if anyone?
Well, for the most part, whoever can afford it can. Whoever can afford paying more rent can get it. But at the same time, like I talk about my Jewish neighbors as well. And it's a tight Jewish community and families work close together and everyone work close together. So I just see that they're getting more treatment. Everything seems fine there. Like you never hear loud music. You don't hear any complaints. Nothing is very quiet. But with us, we have to complain about loud music or whatever else that we think should be better. That is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just makes me wonder a little bit. Where was Miss Abby from? Since she seems so good with the supers and everybody else.
She's from Trinidad.
Oh, so it was like a proximity thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Because she was like closer physically to them, that she was also like got along with them more. That's so strange.
Something that I mentioned in an earlier draft is that the main reason I know her is because she gives my brother Cadet cheesecake on his birthday. So she's nice that way, she's very nice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you feel a little weird because
It's
she
like
wants to ask you about your life and how's everything going.
Yeah.
So
nice with intent.
you don't want to go into too much detail. You don't want her to know too much about you. But
I see. All right. Well, with that, thank you again for coming. For sharing this strange story. It feels so like there's so many different undertones to the story, but still feels very unanswered. I'm like, that's so strange. I guess you just have to keep like living through it to like figure out the answers to it.
Thank you so much for sharing. I really liked your story, and I just feel like there's more coming.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.